right here this afternoon on WCRS Radio. Yes, I'm Ann Eller. Yes, we're live on Facebook this afternoon, and I have a very special guest, someone that's new to our community, and I think she's been working for a little bit, but I thought it would be good to introduce her to the community because they are important to our community, particularly in times where we see the struggles that are going on. My very special guest today is Denise Holland. She's been recently appointed as the Executive Director of United Way of the Lakelands. She has 40 years of nonprofit leadership experience. Spent 16 years with the American Red Cross. She served at the CEO of the Harvest Hope Food Bank for 20 years. She's been doing a lot of different things, and it's all been to help people, and I think that is terrific. She lives in Saluda County with her husband, Warren, and they have 2 married adult children, and she is the proud owner of a 1-year-old miniature schnauzer named Murray, and she and Penny got along just fine. So, that's a good thing. Without further ado, let me introduce to you Denise Holland. How are you today, Denise?
Ann, I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm good. This is nice. We've been spending a little time getting to know each other. So, as the executive director coming in here, how has it been getting acclimated? How long have you actually been here as the director?
Almost 7 months.
7 months.
Almost 7 months. Not quite 7 months. 6.5 months.
6.5. Yeah, let's not push it to 7 yet.
No.
So, tell us what you have seen since you've come here. Now, I do know you have changed the focus, of course, is always to help people, but you've changed a little bit how you're going about helping people. Is that correct?
We are. We have. Really, it's been about, continuing the things that the United Way has done successfully, such as the Hub, VITA, for income tax. That will start back very soon. And we have a couple of other platforms on our website that really helps the nonprofits to have current ongoing data about what people need right here in the Lakelands. And so we're focused on that. We have a coalition called GC3 that is funded from SELF through the Duke Foundation to help United Way look at and collaborate with all the agencies, professionals who are in the domain of helping others, and to talk about what are they really seeing. And we've started a coalition, or Abbeville started a coalition, Be Well Abbeville. So we've been there and doing some of the same things. And
I like it.
Giving Saluda has one that is starting, that's very in the infant stages, but starting, and we're looking at moving forward McCormick and hope to have a person there who continues this coalition work and bringing the nonprofit and the typical helpers that you see in the community, your hospitals, your health care givers, your insurance, your mental health helping, the schools, etc., all together so we can collectively talk about what are the immediate needs in each of those counties and what can we all do. What best practices can we, there's nothing wrong with stealing a best practice from a nonprofit that's doing well.
That's
right. Or either you help that nonprofit continue to do well, or however it plays out, but really to help the Lakelands live healthy, have financial security, have a communities that are resilient,
right,
and provide youth opportunities to learn, to grow, those kinds of things in the community. So, United Way is continuing in that vein, and we've just had to get a feel for it and then start doing it. Get out, meet people, talk about what we know and there's some incredible data types of gathering things that we fund with donated dollars, but it really helps the nonprofits to tell their story around some bona fide facts. And it's not just the facts of what's happening here, it's what South Carolina is experiencing, but how it then drills down into the Lakelands.
Well, how about your experience? How about your experience at some of these others, like at the Harvest Hope Food Bank and the director of development at both the Dickerson Children's Advocacy? How are you using the intel that you've gotten over years to maybe change the focus a little bit? How you do things here?
Well, it is always about when you see a need, the nonprofit either has to be available for those people to come there, or the nonprofit has to go to where that need is. That's been throughout the eras for many, many, many decades. Centuries even, is that we
only have 4 decades of experience. Is that what you're telling
That's
me?
right. That's right.
Is that what you're trying to say here?
Yeah, absolutely. But really seeing what the needs are, talking to people about how they need to be served, what are those needs about, what can we do to help them, and give them some wraparound services. Mm-hmm. And I think United Way of the Lakelands, with the hub and the things we are doing in the hub, we are navigating. They call in, or they can come in and see us, and we love to have people come into the hub to see us, because we can get a little bit more. We can dig down a little bit deeper.
There's nothing like a face-to-face conversation.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. Right. So the hub is there to help them navigate to what they need, and sometimes it is not until you actually talk to someone, whether it's on the phone or in person, to really start to understand where that person is and what are all of those things that are needed.
Absolutely.
In my 40 years of nonprofit experience, I've served on every disaster since 1982 in South Carolina, and sometimes you just got to have that deeper conversation about
you need to know how to have that conversation,
right, and
probably more than anything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How to have the conversation and how to pick up on what are the basic needs, certainly, to help them, but also there might be some mental health things that they need help with. So, it's just meeting people where they are and helping them to get to a mentally and physically healthier place, even financially a healthier place.
Sure. So, well then, when you came into the Lakelands area, what did you see?
So I have lots of family throughout South Carolina and throughout this whole vein of South Carolina. Beautiful. I get to ride home, going through beautiful countryside, and I love that.
Sure.
I'm really a country girl at heart, there, and so you got to appreciate everything that's in nature that you see through that. But what I also saw was, in all of these counties, whether it's Abbeville, whether it's Greenwood, McCormick, or Saluda, you have people who have really loved the community and continue to love it and make it the best place. I mean, when you see the walking trails here and you see all the things that, people are doing together, chamber, businesses, nonprofit organizations, all that sort of thing, you having food drives, you having toy drives, all of that is a picture of grace and humility and beauty of someone truly reaching out to help someone else, whether that's done on an individual basis, a church basis, a civic club basis, a business basis, but together we are united. And that's how United Way really sees the communities. And I certainly love it here.
Well, that's
Love
great.
it.
That's great. You know, one of the things that I've always said, I'm not originally from Greenwood, but I've lived here for 40 plus years. But I have people that have come into this area, and we get a lot of people retired. And I used to do a lot of work with the soup kitchen and everything. And people used to always talk about the sense of community that's here. And in a lot of other cities and everything, particularly for a lot of people moving from the north down here, they were always stunned by the community that we have here. I actually had thought that it really was the mills and the housing and all of these things that gave that sense of community. If you lived on a street, you weren't just worried about your children, you were worried about the neighborhood children.
That's right.
So I think that that's where a lot of that comes from that we didn't have up in the north, for example.
I completely agree. There's nothing like hospitality and Southern hospitality, particularly, but that is what if you lived here during the mill time,
right,
and even to today, the mills brought a lot of that sense of community.
Right.
You know, and they were sometimes the only employer, or certainly the largest employers. So we've learned and lived in a great community all through here. That's beautiful, and that people care about it. You know, there's the care of the trails that we've been a part of helping, and the chamber's been a part of it. Businesses have been a part of developing the trails here for walking, and it really takes you through some beautiful land that you may not have the opportunity to see and look if it were not for the trails.
Sure,
so,
absolutely.
you know, all those things are important. But one of the things certainly that United Way does and helps pay for, we use funding to pay for this study annually. It is called ALICE, and that means Asset Limited Income Constrained but Employed. And it talks about exactly how many families are living in Alice, and I have those statistics with me. And really, if we were to be totally honest with ourselves, when I start talking about Alice, we all can think back. Yeah, I remember that. I remember a time when I really had to get my kids out of diapers and into some training pants because diapers were so expensive. Mm-hmm. You really looked for ways to have healthy meals, but you were on a budget.
Sure.
And many still are.
Right.
You know, so you had to learn to do a lot of things to
help
your family.
Or you have a car breakdown and you don't have the money for the car repair.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
right.
so that's what Alice is about, is that something happens and they don't have the money to deal with it, or they take the money to deal with it. You got to have a car to go to work.
And that puts you short on putting food on the table.
Right, or paying rent, or paying utilities. So,
we have Dave Ramsey here on WCRS, and he's always talking about the importance of the four walls. You've got to have food, you got to have rent, you can do without this, you can do without that. So I think our listeners would be pretty familiar with that philosophy.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, John Wesley preached on give 10%, save 10%, pay all of your bills,
right,
and have that to fall back on. But in the state of Alice in 2023, there are 27,770 households that in Greenwood County alone was living in Alice. 4,838 of those were living in poverty, which is worse than the state of Alice.
It's below Alice.
But a third of the 27,000 households are living in the state of Alice. And so you're really looking at an employed group, but they still cannot make ends meet. As long as everything's doing okay, as long as the car don't broke down, as long as some appliance doesn't break down, et cetera, et cetera, they're okay. But if something happens, they don't have the assets to pull back on to get that fixed.
They don't have the Dave Ramsey $1,000 emergency fund.
No, they don't.
Right.
And so in Greenwood County, there's 9,437 households that live in Alice. Those that are above Alice are 13,500 almost.
Mm-hmm.
Those that are Alice households below the age of 65 is 52, almost 53,000. And those that are Alice households above the age of 65 is almost just as many, as almost 51,000. So you've got people working below the age of 65 and over the age of 65 who their households are living in Alice in Greenwood County, and it comes to a total of over 100,000 households. So that's...
And this is Greenwood, or this is the Lakelands? This is the whole...
That's
area?
Greenwood County. That's
okay.
just Greenwood.
Okay.
I have the numbers for Abbeville County as well, and it is... Abbeville County is under 65 is about the same number, 56,700. Over 65 is 50,000 households. So, again, in Abbeville County, we're looking at about 100,000 households, a little better than that. In Greenwood County, we're looking at that. And in McCormick County, you have 60,000, almost 61,000 households that are below 65 living in Alice. And above 65 is almost 49,000. So again, you're also looking at about 100,000 households in all three of those counties. And in Saluda, it is almost the exact same scenario. You're looking at a little over the 100,000 households living in the state of Alice. And
well, that seems like higher population counts than what we have here in Greenwood County.
This was 2023, and this was a study for the state United Way of South Carolina. Not the state of... It's not a state. It's not a...
that would put Greenwood County at 100,000. Is that what you're saying? But I don't think the population is that. Not to question your figures or anything,
right.
But I don't know how we get to that number when the census, which was in 20, wouldn't have been that great an increase. So I'm just a little confused, but maybe I am confused.
Well, let me take that back. It's not households, it's people. I was reading it wrong. It's people. So about 100,000 people in Abbeville County, Greenwood County, McCormick County, Saluda County are all living in a state of Alice.
Okay. Well, anyways, but I just didn't think our population in Greenwood County was that much. But maybe I'm wrong, or maybe you're counting something else that we can check that out. But anyway, so what does all this mean?
Well, it just means that particularly the coalition work that happens in Greenwood County and that's going on in Abbeville County and moving forward in McCormick and getting started in Saluda, we are one Saluda. It just means that coalition work is helping to bring many voices to the table to consider what are the priorities that we as a community can take on to make sure that we are living healthy living, mm-hmm. to make sure we do have community resiliency, financial security, and youth opportunities. It's easy to ride and not see the homes that the people living there are truly living in Alice. It's easy to pass those by, whereas you look at some other things that you pass. But there has to be the vision from those coalitions and the information that they have that helps us drive to make sure that our communities are having healthy living, financial security, community resiliency, and youth opportunities. And United Way of the Lakelands we provide our hub so that people can call to get navigated to the proper place. We also pay for the service of 211, which is
a great service. Yeah, that's
right.
A great
That's
service.
a great service, and the statistics we have about, 211 is very used a great deal, and
I think one of the cool things about it is they can talk in any language, right?
That's correct.
And they can answer any question about anything. It's not just calling information for a telephone number, which I think is really great.
Yes. In both the hub and 211, our 211, of which all the United Ways in South Carolina take part in, we do track things. So there's for the hub, a case is created in the platform called Unite Us, and we have partners that are associated with that case management. And so when we create that case, and let's just say they need food or whatever, it's immediately going to go to the Greenwood Food Bank, or it's going to go to a food pantry as to where they can get some immediate needs met.
Sure.
So it goes out immediately to them. Those nonprofits accept that case, and they continue to help that family based on what we've gone through an extensive questionnaire about, to help them talk about what all the problems are. Because sometimes people can start talking about the problems, they're so overwhelmed, something may be forgotten, and they get back in the car, they go back home, and they go, oh, I wish I had told them about this too. So there's those types of things that we're really trying to do, and very important. So it takes funding to have those services available throughout the entire Lakelands and really throughout the entire state. But the Lakelands just does it for the Lakelands, the 4 counties of the Lakelands. We have Lakelands Counts on our website, and that is very good. It's a great place for statistics, and I talk to a lot of the leadership from the other nonprofits, and they go, yes, we love that. We're able to do some grant writing and use and cite those things that you have on your website. And that cost, and it has costs there. We're doing another program called Guided Beginnings, to where we have a charity navigator with us there who is helping maternal, expectant mothers, and sometimes mothers and dads, help to navigate that 9 months well and be prepared for that baby that's going to come along. And we're really happy about having that, and SELF has brought that to us with South Carolina Department of Rural Health, and they are helping people who they don't know how to prepare for that little one that's coming, and so we're helping them to do that. And SELF takes care of their medical, and uses resources to help guide their medical. We also have a medical closet on Phoenix Street where United Way is, and it is wonderful to see the people who come in to that medical closet for some donated.
Now, what's in the medical closet?
It is anything from hospital beds to wheelchairs to
Must be a big closet.
It's a big closet. It's a very big closet. Walkers, chairs for when they need to have a stable chair in the bathroom.
Right.
Those kinds of things is in that medical closet. They can come use it and borrow it. They can bring it back when they're finished, or, give it to somebody else. And then we also offer another platform on our website called Credible Minds. And this is it's a mental health platform to help. You can see podcasts, or you can read articles. You can hear people talking about things that we all experience, but we may not know how to.
Well, how are these things reacted from the community? How much response are you getting on these, let's say the mental health, the podcasts and everything? How do you know whether you are making a mark there?
Well, we see the numbers go up as to the people who are using them, and we hear, when we go somewhere and we're talking about United Way, and we're really in a campaign right now, and
right.
You talk about United Way, and we say something about that, and someone there says, "Yes, I know about that."
Right.
So I do know that those things, and particularly the nonprofits, use that information because it is important for them to declare that understanding that they have, and can, as they synthesize some of that stuff as well.
Well, you say you're in a campaign, and I understand you've actually gone back. You've changed the focus of the United Way, the way that it was going, and the way you're really going back to some of the ways where you're doing the campaigns in the different businesses and industries. How's the response been to this change?
I think it has been really wonderful. Now, certainly the campaign is not as big as from a couple of years ago. It's much smaller. We're 80 years old this year. Our goal is 800,000. And, so
where are you at right now on this 800,000?
We're right at probably 100. So we have a
how long does the campaign go, Denise? Come on. And we're talking to Denise Holland, the United Way Executive Director. How long does the campaign go for, Denise?
Well, right now, United Ways are having to do year-round fundraising.
So it never ends. Is that what you're telling me?
And in my 40 years of experience, and it doesn't ever end. It never ends. Service delivery never ends. Funding, raising money for that never ends either.
Right.
It just goes hands in hand, always within nonprofits. And the reason why is because the money comes in, we provide service, and the service is used.
Right.
And so, but that's what it's for.
Right.
It's for those dollars that come in to really be used to help the people who need them the most.
Right.
So that's always the way.
Right.
Regardless of what you're doing.
But what does this do as far as you're at 100,000? What would you anticipate raising, do you think? I think your 800,000 may be a little high if you're at 100 right now, right? Where do you, and I guess my question isn't so much how much dollars, but how will this affect what you want to be able to do?
Well, number one, we will be able to continue our services and do more than what is being done right now. And we will be able to help those nonprofits, hopefully, with some mini grants or a grant to help them continue the services. I mean, the Lakelands has had a difficult little over a year. 14 months ago, there was Helene. We still have disaster cases out there open that are waiting for help.
You just had the Office of Resilience there a week or 2 weeks ago, right?
That's correct. And they come frequently, and there's people who have put in cases, but they haven't been served yet. So there's a piece of all of that happens. But United Way is lending a hand in doing all of that as well by them giving them space in our hub to take calls, see people. And so it just continues. I mean, you don't stop any service delivery because people need people. People need food. People need help.
They need resolvement of their issues.
That's
right. That is for
That's
sure.
Right.
If you cannot resolve an issue, then that's a problem.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
So I guess raising funds, and I was just curious how the campaigns from Velux or from any of these industries here, how it's been. I know you do a big one with the hospital and everything, and getting people back to going, oh, we're doing it this way now.
Right.
I'm sure would be kind of like turning a boat around.
That's exactly right. Well, let's see, I think there's 15 to 18 businesses or industries that are conducting campaigns right now. A couple of them have finished their campaigns, but can't announce what they gathered as of yet due to theirs. But I mean, the industry support of United Way has been truly incredible, and they have welcomed us. And there were some questions that we had to answer. There's some trust building back. There were some people, certainly in Holland, that did not get the help that they felt they needed or did not get it in the time period that they needed. But again, it's all about showing what we do, showing particularly through that coalition work that all depths of that community, even people who are having issues in the community, serve on those coalitions. And so you get to hear a full-bodied voice of what the need is. And in some places, it varies some.
Sure. I'm sure. So as you move this needle forward, you said you're going to go back to a granting process for nonprofits. That's right. So they would actually put in for a grant for food. They'd put in a grant for, I don't know, medicine or healthy living type thing.
Right. So that is where we hope to be as we can raise the funds, the operational dollars and the service delivery dollars that we need. Yes, we would be looking at and putting out some requests for proposals of different services at some point. They may not be as large as what they once were.
Well, there's a lot of money that's kind of been taken away. That COVID money is caused it was overextended, I think, to begin with. They put too much money in the COVID there, and people had to rush out and spend this money. Yes. And now that money is not being replaced.
That's right. And, it takes, I go in and when I visit any business or any industry, who else can you tell me that are your colleagues that also run businesses, and can you give me 5 names? Because if you will give me their names and I'm saying that you support us, then it kind of helps build that trust all the time. But it's service delivery and nonprofit work is not ever perfect.
Sure.
It does take work. It takes fundraising. It takes great people providing the services. It takes volunteers. We desperately need volunteers to come in, and you don't have to have a accounting degree or anything like that. The IRS is going to train you, but
for the VITA program.
To the VITA program, yes.
And so we need tax returns.
Yes, so we need volunteers to help in that. We returned close to $2 million back into the community doing, I think it was almost 10,000 VITA applications or 11,000 VITA applications.
And you don't actually even have to be able to prepare them. They need volunteers just to answer the phones and give them appointments and this type of thing. I've worked with that. So
yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
And so, a men's group, a ladies group, a couples group, come in and pick a day that through the VITA season, your group will take a couple of hours on a day and come in and help those who are coming in to have their taxes done. And that is you really get the feel of what those who may be hidden in the community or those who are putting on a smiling face, and they're not talking about what their needs are, but you really get that feel, particularly during VITA season.
Well, I think the VITA program, quite often finds extra deductions that they are not realizing they can take.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the ways they're able to return more dollars.
Exactly.
And let's see, what is the limits? You can do up to 65,000 or 50 something. I don't remember what the limits are that someone can make, but it's free for anybody.
That's right. And for those particularly, those people, those households that live in the state of Alice, and particularly the children that live in the state of Alice, come in and talk, or just call us and see if you qualify for having VITA done. But I mean,
it's either 50 to 65.
Yeah, I think
it's somewhere
it is 65,
in there.
but I wouldn't want to.
Right,
I wouldn't want to quote that without
right.
seeing it. But it is nonprofit work is for me a heart calling. It has to be passion. It has to be using the skills that you were blessed with and being open to helping your neighbors wherever they are.
Sure.
It's, for me, nonprofit work and caring about other people is a heart passion. Mm-hmm. Like I said, did 40 years in nonprofit, 6 years out in the desert, what I call the desert. I was working in private business, private industry, but the Lord spoke to me and said, Denise, I didn't make you for this. I made you to help people, whether they're sick, whether they're hungry, whether they need a roof over their heads, whether they're cold, and
Sure. So, but what is with the government shutdown? What is the effect of what you're seeing there? I mean, every day we think this might end, but so far it hasn't ended, and now we're into the SNAP benefit problem and partial funding, and I mean, we could have a whole conversation, but that's not really. But what is the effect? And also, I would be interested, since working with the food bank and everything, how much food do we have on hand that's really can help with this situation?
I don't think I can answer that question, Ellen, but I can tell you this. We are on United Way of South Carolina and United Way Worldwide. United Way Worldwide does one about biweekly. United Way of South Carolina, we've had 2 calls the last 7 or 8 days. But so what was decided here in South Carolina is that One Fund South Carolina and the Central Carolina Community Foundation, well, let me go backwards before that. Last week, I called food pantries and the Greenwood Food Bank to get what are they seeing and can they increase their capability of service delivery any. And that information I shared with United Way of South Carolina. And so then all of that was compiled from all the United Ways in South Carolina. And then the ask was put to One Fund SC and the Central Carolina Community Foundation, who looked at all of those metrics that we sent in and decided that there are 4 Feeding America food banks serving all of South Carolina: Second Harvest of Metrolina, Harvest Hope Food Bank, Golden Harvest Food Bank, and Low Country Food Bank. And the money is going to be delivered to those food banks for the purpose of purchasing food to go back into the counties that they serve. Greenwood County is served by Second Harvest of Metrolina, and so is Abbeville, I believe. McCormick is served by Golden Harvest. Saluda is served by Harvest Hope Food Bank. So they are putting donated dollars in to the 4 food banks that are Feeding America, and then extra food will be purchased and given to those pantries that were sent in to them for help. I I talked to the Greenwood Food Bank last week. I talked to
Andrea over there.
Yes, Andrea. I talked to Rosemary over at Greenwood.
Rosemary has started a daily one. Yep.
Right, and several others. So it's talking about what do we do and how do we do.
And what do we do? They're United Woman, Denise Holland, United Way Executive Director.
Well, I think any food drives would be great, but I will tell you this. Funding will go just like with all of us. Funding goes a lot larger, a lot longer ways because we can negotiate things that are needed. And you might not get all the things that you need in a food drive, but food drives are great. It's a great way to help people learn philanthropy. Mm-hmm. We have to teach others to help others.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people who did not learn that as children. They did not.
No, they learned this. Mine.
Yes. Well, and they didn't know to put $1 in that little Sunday school box that was there. So we had to teach people philanthropy, and so that comes along a longitudinal line. You teach them first to pull an angel off of an angel tree. Mm-hmm. You second teach them how to have a food drive and give them the items that are most needed. But you also learn to give your dollars because dollars can go so much further than, other things. But, we were talking today, someone was telling me, one of the navigators was telling me today that there's an angel tree at schools that kids need. And don't we want that? I mean, this is going to make me cry, but you don't want a child not to have the needed clothes they have, not have something that is special, some special toy or something.
Sure,
but, those are small things, but let's teach people philanthropy. I think, and I've said this many times, is you talk about giving to others, take your children and involve them in it.
Oh, absolutely.
I will tell you how I learned philanthropy. I was a late child in my parents' life, and my mother's love language was definitely to cook, and she was a great cook. But she would, and I was the last child at home by 14 years, and so but my mother would cook a meal. She kind of didn't know how to cook a small meal. She only knew how to cook a big meal.
So good
and she would
cooking.
Fix plates and wrap them in aluminum foil and wax paper and put them in her car. Daddy would go put her car, his truck, whatever, and they would put me in the middle of that as a child holding down these boxes of plates that she was out giving away to people that she knew that had cancer or that had lost someone in their family or whatever. I learned philanthropy by watching them do what they do, and they taught me that, and I am very thankful that I was brought up in that kind of family that gave to others and cared for others.
I think that is one of the problems that our society has, and I think that it is adult. Actually, there's adults out there that have never seen this, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then they have children, and they have children, and it is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It is a self-fulfilling prophecy, and again, like John Wesley said, you give 10%. You save 10%, and you pay your bills with it. And when you give 10%, you're going to have, the Lord is going to have blessings. It may not be a money, but He's going to bless you in other ways. But it's having faith. It's having faith in philanthropy and nonprofit for me is also faith in each other and a faith that we see commonality among the problems, and we can hold hands and go help them. We can be one to help and not to make people feel worse. We can help them by meeting their basic needs.
Absolutely.
You know,
But it's a big and the problem is the need is now.
that's right.
I mean, that is the problem. It's not like we have a lot of time we can train. We've got to get food now.
That's right.
I know having worked with the Salvation Army, they always appreciated all the things, and they actually appreciate our peanut butter drive that we've raised over 6,000 pounds because they could put that in the food baskets that they did. But when a disaster hit, they were always saying, donate to that organization, money, check, whatever, because they could do so much more. And they knew how to buy and they knew how to use the products that they had.
That's right. And that's the other thing about the nonprofit world. I mean, the nonprofit world does things collectively, so we can do collective buying of what? But bargaining. Yeah, exactly. But we can do collectively rounding up volunteers. We can do collectively in the services that we provide. I'll tell you, one of the biggest requests we have in our medical closet is for CPAP machines. And there are so many people who were told by a doctor to go get a CPAP machine. They tried it for a little while and they set it up in the closet.
I don't like it. Yeah.
They don't like it. Bring it to the medical closet. Bring it to us. Help United Way fund other nonprofits that have so much to do in service delivery that they do not have enough time for fundraising. Help fund United Way so that we can help those nonprofits. I mean,
so there's life after CPAP for those machines that are just sitting lonely in a closet at home.
That's exactly right. Be on a mission to get any medical equipment out of your house, clean it out if you don't need it, and bring it to our medical closet. And help us. I mean, help us have funding that we can help others, because the strength of the dollar is great.
Absolutely.
Especially when it is loving people, giving to love and help others. It's
Absolutely. So, as you look at, we are here with Denise Holland. She is United Way Executive Director. Denise, I know we've talked a little bit about funding, but we have the soup kitchen here. That's another good avenue.
Absolutely.
That has been a great source for years and years. And of course, we have the food bank. And one of the things that a lot of people have asked about is that with the SNAP benefits being cut, that people can get canned vegetables and this type of thing, but they need meat. I understand the food bank actually has some coolers where they're able to do that.
They do. The Greenwood Food Bank definitely has cooler freezers and coolers to help them store meat and those kinds of...
How about deer meat? Do they take deer meat?
Reaching back into my throne for my treasure chest of nonprofit work, actually, if it has been, I'm not sure this is still current, but it was for 20 years. If the meat has been processed at a certified processor and packaged at that certified processor, it has to be labeled deer meat, because some people, like expectant mothers, cannot, or nursing moms cannot have deer meat.
Oh, wow.
But it could be given to elderly, that don't have those kind of dietary restrictions.
Sure.
But it has to be processed, or this is the way it was when
Right.
I was there.
Right.
It had to be processed by a meat processor,
a
certified meat processor with USDA, and it has to be packaged with their name on the packaging.
So you can't just bring a deer in here and say, "Here you go."
Sorry. And no wild hogs either.
No wild hogs either. Okay, coming out of Saluda, wild hogs. There you go.
That's right. But it's, people can think of all kinds of ways to help others.
I know, but your organization has to help bigger level.
We do have to help at a bigger level. And
there's all kinds of food drives right now that are going on to help.
Yes.
But I guess my concern is what happens once the food is gone from these food drives and we still haven't, and Congress still hasn't decided to put their butts back to work. How do you navigate? I mean, there has to be, I would think, contingency plans about what's going to happen next. And how is the funding going to supply these big food banks? That's the other thing. I think the other day they had 46,000. Well, that's really a drop in the bucket.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Sounds like a lot of money, but it's not when you're feeding a whole state.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's going to take a period of time to come back and recover. There's no doubt about that. But that is more the case of help one another, love one another, help the organizations that are doing the good work, including us. I mean, first, I have to say most sincerely, all the industries, Caterpillar, Lonza, Velux, there's a couple that are not coming even to my mind, but the industries in Greenwood, which has always had great industrial support, have really come to the table. Eaton, they've yes, absolutely. Self Hospital is so supportive of us in so many ways. I mean, they've helped us have grant money to do the services that we're doing, and it's just the entire Greenwood community has been good. And if your listeners would just give us a donation, it can be a small donation, whatever you can afford, and send it to us. We're going to use it in the right ways because...
How do people make donations to United Way?
They can go on our website, uwlakelands.org, and there is a Donate Now page. They can go there. If you have a club or a group and would like to do something, we can call us there and ask for Donna Lawless or myself, and we've got donation cards that we can give out to people. But I really want to offer myself and Donna certainly as speakers at club meetings, churches. If you need a speaker for something, call us. Give us a call, and we will gladly be a speaker to talk about what we see.
What is the number to call?
I use my cell number because I wear hearing aids, but my goodness. I can't tell you at the moment.
Okay. That's okay. All right. That's all right.
No, I can tell you.
Okay.
864-229-4103. 864-229-4103. They can call us right there. And we would love to, we would love to come talk about what is needed. And there's so many nonprofits. Today we did an expungement day with South Carolina Legal Services in the Hub. Mm-hmm. One of the charity navigators is planning, the manager of the Hub is planning to have a FAFSA day to help teens who are getting ready to go to college.
Maybe the first ones going and don't have any idea what all this is all about.
Right, a FAFSA. So that is your financial aid, your vehicle. It's the application, but it's not easy. I remember seeing it first time my children went to college. I was like, oh goodness, I cannot do this. This is income taxes. But we're going to have one of those workshops. We had that maternal health fair. We want to have more of those workshops for people to come in. Or send us, you can email us from our website, send us something you would like to see us do. That is in the name of training or bringing people in to help others. That's what we want to do.
Absolutely. Well, Denise Holland, United Way Executive Director, I'll give you 1 minute to finish this up and tell us what the people can do to help the United Way and how you can help how you can help people.
We help people by providing services for community resiliency, healthy living, financial security, and youth opportunities. We still want gardens planted in the spring. We did that. That was great. But helping others is really helping the nonprofits have funding, and we are trying to be one of those funding mechanisms. But we've got a long road to go on. But everyone's help, because giving out of your heart, giving love to someone else, whether it's a food drive, a clothes drive, whether it's an angel tree that's pulled off a Christmas tree for Christmas, or it's a check that you write to United Way or some other, your favorite nonprofit, whatever the case may be, it is about showing love to the community, to the least of these.
Absolutely. Well, it's been great getting to know you here today on WCRS. Thank you so much, Denise, for coming out and talking to us.
Thank you, and thank you all your listeners for hanging in with us, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. That, my friends, is going to do it for us right here on WCRS Radio. I'll be back in the morning. Yes, we have another day tomorrow, and it's just Hump Day Wednesday. So we'll be talking, and we also have a guest tomorrow afternoon. Rob Jones will be joining us talking about Medicare and insurance. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you liked it, how about like and share it? And you can always go back and watch this show on Facebook, WCRS, or you can also go to our website, WCRS1450am.net. So let's take it away. Thanks so much, Denise, for being here today. Okay, you want to wait just a second before you leave there, and let me cue this out, and we will be done.
Okay.